Hello. Welcome to the fourth episode of the series, Modeling Rem from the AnimeXD 0. In this video series I'm bringing my workflow from the Rem character modeling process. So far, body, head and clothes have been modeled. This time, I'll be modeling Rem's hair. For this, I will be bringing a technique, which I thought was appropriate for this type of hair. Let's start by adding a Belzier curve. For this, I position the 3D cursor next to the model. The next one will be to add a mesh of type plano. I will subdivide the maximum number of subdivisions, in this case it is 10. I will be staggering in edit mode. Do not make any changes in object mode. Now in the flat object I will be adding a modifier, curve. Notice that the object follows the curve. So far everything is okay. Now we are going to edit the curve. In edit mode, we are going to give the desired shape to the curve. Only in edit mode can we rotate, scale or move. If we make any changes to the object mode, we will be changing the object's axis. In this way, we will be compromising the correct positioning. Along with the curve, we must also rotate the plane. Note that it is positioned in the wrong way. Then we must in edit mode, rotate it on the x-axis. So it must stay in the positioning we want. Now, we can position the curve where the model is, always remembering in the edit mode. With that we arrived at this result. So far everything is right. Now let's add lattice. Always adding in the same place. Do not change the 3D cursor. I will be making the following adjustments. You can simply copy or use other values, whatever. Now in object mode we can scale the lattice. The plan must be entirely within lattice. Let's add the curve modifier to the lattice. The target curve must be the first curve that we added at the beginning, and the deformation axis is X. Note that so far everything is correct. The lattice follows the curve on the correct axis. We can turn off or delete the plane's curve modifier. Let's add the lattice modifier to the plane. Now let's add the simple deform modifier to lattice. This modifier will round the lattice. We must add a void. Now we must configure it as follows. In the simple deform modifier, in origin, we will indicate the void. Let's press the bend button. Now we are going to adjust the angle until it is round. We must also leave the curve modifier enabled. Now we can move the void. By doing this, everything will automatically move to where the model is. Now just adjust. The adjustments may vary, depending on the way you are doing it. Then, you will have to find the setting that is most convenient. We will be able to edit several elements to get where we want. Adjust the plane, the void, the lattice, and also the angle of the simple deform modifier. Another element that we can also edit to achieve a satisfactory result is the curve. It is worth remembering that the plan must always remain within the lattice. With everything set, let's add another lattice. Always to add anything, armor, object, curve and others, the shortcut is Shift+A. The second lattice will also be subdivided. The second lattice must be added at the point where the model's head is. To do this, just move the 3D cursor. Now in the first lattice, we must add the lattice modifier, and the target object must be the second lattice. It may seem a little complicated, but if we get to that result, everything will be fine so far. Now the second added lattice will deform everything inside it. This will serve to make other adjustments that may be necessary. Note that if we make changes to the lattice in object mode, nothing happens. To have deformations, it only works with the lattice in edit mode. Selecting the vertices and pulling. I will be subdividing the lattice into 8x8x8. After adjusting, I will start the step of creating the locks of hair. For that, I will be subdividing. We could be deleting some faces. But what I'm going to do is separate the vertices. I will add the modified solidify. Now create a vertex group. In vertex paint mode, I will do a degrade painting. In vertex group of the modifier solidify, I will be placing the created group. Now we can adjust the thickness of the hair, until we get a favorable result. We can also use the smoother to make the gradient more smooth. Now we can sequence the strands of hair. Basically the process will be this: select the vertices, press V to separate the vertices, and position the fuses. When placing fuses, the key is to move only on the x-axis. Only if the strand goes behind another one, then we must move on the y-axis. Now what I'm going to do is mark the creases, so the ends will be square. We can also enjoy and mark seams, which will be useful to unfold the UV map. We can also make new extrusions, to add more wicks. Of course, the plan must remain within the lattice. Reference from other angles is good to know in detail the construction of the hair. With the front part done, we move on to modeling the back of the hair. The method I am going to use is the same. So, nothing different will be done than what was done previously. Probably only the settings used will change. But the procedure will be the same, in the same order as it was done at the beginning. For this reason the video will be accelerated. But I'm not going to edit the entire workflow. Here at this point I determine that it is time to apply the lattice modifier. Once the modifier is applied, I will rename it and also close this hole. Here simply select the vertices, scale at 0, then merge by distance, to join all points. For the back part, it will be done in the same way, applying the lattice modifier. In this case, there was a problem with the normal ones that was solved by recalculating. To recalculate it is just Shift plus N. Here, too, the same thing was done uniting all the points. Now I'm going to move the vertices to try as hard as possible to stay true to the designer. Here I have not yet applied the solidify modifier. It will be very confusing to move so many vertices. It will be applied when everything is perfect. With all the modeling done, it is time to apply the modifier solidify. Some internal faces, I will be eliminating, as they are not necessary. I am currently adopting the traditional method. The result can be incredible using several different techniques. Although I am adjusting everything now, when adding the outline, it may need new adjustments. The outline may be missed. I hope that the explanation of this method of hairstyling was very clear. Remember that this method does not apply to all types of hair. Some type of hair will have to be modeled in a traditional way. With that, we come to the end of episode 4. Thank you all for watching, and until the next episode.